Hello everyone, this is Steve, and thank you for watching this video. If you're on YouTube land, if you're in the photography land, wherever you are seeing this video on my website, stevehufpphoto.com, I thank you for tuning in and watching this video. What I have here today is basically, I'll keep it as short and simple as I can. This is the newest and best Sigma DP2 camera to come along well since ever. This is the new Sigma DP2 Merrill. You can see it says Merrill right here, and it's basically named Merrill for the designer of the sensor, the engineer, Dick Merrill, who helped Sigma create this technology. Now Sigma has their own kind of sensors. They don't use CMOS, they don't use CCD. They use their Foveon image sensor, which captures RGB information in each pixel location. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. The quality out of a Foveon sensor is totally different than a CCD or CMOS sensor. You're going to get way better colors, much richer color, insane detail, and just an overall look to the image that you won't see with any other sensor. So there are some hardcore followers of Sigma cameras just because of these sensors. The DP2, from what I understand, uses the same 46 megapixel Foveon sensor that is in their SD1, which is their monster DSLR, which came in at some crazy $7,000 or $8,000 price when it launched, and now can be had for just over $2,000. So the sensor in this camera is flat out amazing when it comes to color and detail. It's just rich, it's smooth, but the detail is absolutely mind-blowing. You don't get any of the crud that you see with CCD or CMOS, or the softness or the blurring, you know, and a lot of it has to do with this lens that's attached. And I have to say the lens on the DP2 Merrill is a 30mm f2.8 fixed lens, but that's going to give you the equivalent of a 45mm f2.8 lens in 35mm terms, because this does use an APS-C sensor. So the camera, as far as image quality goes, I'm going to tell you right now, the image quality coming out of this beats just about any compact-ish camera I have ever touched. Beats the Sony RX100, beats the Leica X2, it beats anything. It beats the NEX7 even. The only thing with this camera, well, first let me tell you, when you open the box, you get the camera, a charger. It comes with 2 batteries, and there's a reason Sigma shipped 2 batteries, and you might even want to order 1 more if you go for this camera. This thing just sucks out the battery life, and it doesn't last very long at all. When you take a photo, this little red dot's going to flash here, and it just flashes forever, because it takes forever for the camera to write these files to the card. There we go, 1, Mississippi 2, Mississippi 3, Mississippi 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Took about 18 seconds, give or take. The Sigma DP2 Merrill's 46 megapixel Foveon sensor is flat out amazing for color and quality, and it's not 46 megapixel in the sense that you would get with a CCD or CMOS sensor. It's the old Sigma 46 megapixels due to the Foveon RGB sensor and how it works. Most of you already know all about that, but I can say that you get plenty of detail, plenty of resolution, and the color is mind-blowing from the Sigma DP2. Like I said, it eats battery life. And my big niggle with the old DP1s, DP2s, and I reviewed the DP1 when it first came out a couple years ago, 3 years ago maybe, and it was so damn slow, it just irritated the hell out of me, and I didn't want to shoot with it. So I kind of gave up on these Sigma cameras because the focus was so slow. But when the DP2 Merrill came out, it looked pretty special, and when the more I read about it, the more I wanted to try it and give Sigma another shot. So in the hand, you can see it's like a brick. It's actually shaped just like a piece of, like a brick, like a thin brick. It's not that small, and it's a little on the heavy side. And I was excited when I got it to go out and shoot it. So I did just that. I charged up both batteries, I took it out, and I have to say, The performance of the camera is still kind of sucky as far as speed goes. Not the image quality. The image quality is the best I've seen. Like I said, it beats the Leica X2 in my opinion, beats the Sony NEX7, the RX100, beats the OMD. If image quality is your thing at low ISO in good light and your subject's not moving, this is the camera right here. This is amazing. Landscapes, portraits are even nice. The color and look of the files, some love it, some hate it, but Sigma has a huge following, and I can see why. The only problem I had with the DP2 Merrill is, again, the speed, the sluggishness, and let me show you. Let's see, hopefully this works on camera. What I found to happen is when I focus on something, the lens makes this irritating squeaky sound. Let's see if it happens right now. Yes, it did. Did you hear that? So I'm going to try it again, and you'll be able to hear that noise that irritates the hell out of me. And I don't know if I just have a lemon here or what. Either way, it's being sent back today. But, hear that? Oh, that's awful. You're out in any kind of low light, the thing hunts like mad, and well, there it wasn't so bad. The thing hunts, and the high ISO quality is not the best. If you want to go past 800, I wouldn't do it. Even 400 is what I would top out at. One thing I do like about the DP2 Merrill is the menu system. There's this QS button up here that you can customize. You press QS. I have it customized for ISO at the top, and then you change it with the dial up here. So you turn that, put it on auto. You hit the D-pad controller, whatever you want to call it, and then you can turn it and choose your metering mode. I have this set up with these selections because that's what I use the most. So if I wanted to go to spot metering, I highlight the metering, turn the dial up here, put it to spot. Go down here, this is your drive mode. You have single shot, multi-shot, self-timer 2, self-timer 10, interval recording, and then you can set it to anything you want. Then your white balance, if you want to choose your own custom white balance, you can do so right there. So the quick setting menu is very cool. It's a one button press and you can customize it. The menu system is pretty straightforward and easy to understand. You have your ISO, your bracketing, your metering, your drive mode, white balance, image quality, image size, color mode. Your color mode has standard, vivid, neutral, portrait, landscape. Picture settings, you can change the contrast, sharpness, and saturation, and that kind of overrides all of the presets. So then you have your other settings that are basic to most cameras. It's not the most customizable camera in the world, but it's very simple. So I do like the menus. There's your custom quick setting menu. You can choose what you want for each up key. Like I said, I chose ISO, sensitivity, etc. So the menus are actually very simple to understand, which is good. I don't like menus that are so confusing and like full of 100 options. But basically what I can tell you about the DP2, here's the mode button on the top. So you press mode, and there is a movie mode, but it's god-awful. I wouldn't recommend this. I don't even think they mention movie mode in their description of the camera. You know, you have manual, shutter priority, aperture priority program, and then your custom settings. So that's with the mode button up top. As always, I usually use aperture priority. The lens, then you control the aperture with this dial. The dial feels very smooth and solid. The camera is metal. It does, when I first got it, I thought it was plastic, even the feel of it, but it is a metal body, so it's the construction. Actually, the more I used it, the more I appreciated the construction. It's very solid. The dials are smooth. It doesn't feel like cheap. The buttons are solid. They're not loose. Everything feels good, and what I like about it is its simplicity. So what I will say to you about the Sigma DP2 Merrill is, if you want some amazing image quality, but you don't want to shoot action with this, so nothing moving, children running around moving, it's not going to work. You're going to miss the shot. If you want portraits, you can do portraits. If you want still life, you can do still life. If you want landscape, you could do beautiful landscapes with this camera. It's just not going to cut it for any kind of action or movement because it's too slow. But if you look at the Sigma DP2 files on the internet, Flickr, you'll see what people are shooting with the DP2. And if you want to shoot low ISO, I'd say up to 400, possibly 8, if you want to get some noise in there. 1 to 400 in good light, and you don't need action. This is about as good as you're going to get image quality wise. My main concern with this is the price. This is $1,000. For $1,000, now the Leica X2 is $2,000, but the Leica X2 is faster. Okay, it's a Leica. It doesn't have the oddball squeaky noise when the lens focuses, and it's a Leica. What can I say? But this does, in my opinion, give better image quality than a Leica X2 at half the cost. But you're giving up a lot of the usability. It's not fun for me to shoot. I had a hard time. I was frustrated with it a couple times trying to shoot in low light. So you can use manual focusing though. It does have a manual focus ring. So I don't want to keep dragging on and on and on, but it does have a hot shoe. If you want to add a flash, you can add a flash. There's no built-in flash. So my cons for this is it's $1,000, which is a little high priced in my opinion for a Sigma DP2, even though the sensor's crazy amazing. The sensor in this thing, oh, sorry about that, that was my phone. The sensor in this, if this could be in like a Leica X2 or a Sony RX100 or a Sony NEX, game over with some good lenses. But so $1,000 is a little high. There's no viewfinder, there's no EVF, there's no swivel screen, there's no built-in flash, which is not a big deal for me. I don't like those things about it. I do like the simplicity, I like the build, I like the quality of the dials, I like the lens, which is beautiful, 45 f2.8 equivalent, and the sensor. So it all comes down to personal preference, as always, depending on what you want to shoot. But don't buy the Sigma DP2 Merrill thinking you're going to shoot your kids running around the living room, because it's not going to happen and you're not going to get good results. So if you're patient and you know you want to shoot still life, landscape, portraits, and you want to do it in good light, the Sigma DP2 Merrill will offer you some of the best image quality that you can get out of any camera, really. DSLRs included. The IQ out of this thing's gorgeous. So that's about it, the Sigma DP2 Merrill. You can read the full review over at stevehufpphoto.com. As always, check back there daily for news, daily inspirations, reviews, rumors. I don't do many rumors, but sometimes. And all kinds of cool stuff. I have some very cool stuff coming up the first week of September, so make sure you go to stevehufpphoto.com. Thanks, and bye.